Let's get started with our next presentation. I've actually known this company for quite a while. I'm anxious to hear from them again. The session's titled, Why Many Hosting Providers Don't Meet Their Customers' Expectations and How to Fix It, the story behind WEP. Let's hear the story behind WEP. Please help me welcome Pavel Guralnik, from CEO of ISPsystem. Please welcome Pavel.
All right. Hi, everyone. This is the first time that I'm speaking here, so that should be a great experience for all of us. So as I was kindly introduced, I am a CEO of ISPsystem, and we've been on the market for quite a while. To give you a little bit of a background, from 2001, we've been developing different solutions for hosting providers, different control panels that do virtualization, data center management, billing platforms, and one of the solutions that we have is a web server management control panel. So there are quite a few of them on the market. You're familiar with the big players, of course. And as we were moving forward, we were thinking, how is the market evolving? What is happening with the customers? What are the target audiences of hosting providers want? Where should we take our product further? And for that, we went to two places. We went to the market research, obviously, and we were looking at trends and what's happening on the market. And we were also doing a lot of customer development. So we didn't just go to the hosting providers, we went to the customers of hosting providers and asked them what they're looking for. What are the tools that would make it easier for them to work? Some of the findings that we had, they're not surprising. Some are a little bit more surprising. Basically, many of you know that websites globally are growing. The amount year on year is increasing, so more and more people are going online. Currently, it's over 180 million active websites, so not just created and abandoned, but in active use. And the number continues to increase. Another statistics is, what are people using to go online? CMS, obviously. And on the graph on the left, you can see that websites not running a CMS, the amount of those websites is decreasing, while the amount of websites running a CMS, in particular WordPress, Joomla, Drupal, is growing. The same with site builders. They're seeing an amazing growth over the years. So people are looking for the right tools to go online. They're looking for simplicity, obviously. Site builders are delivering that to them. And this is the dynamic as well. So people who are not using anything to run their website are leaning towards the CMS. So it allows them to go online easier, grow easier, and scale, which is important. The solution that we've had is called ISP Manager. It's been on the market since 2001. It runs on over 130,000 servers globally, so quite a sizable statistical significance, so to say. And when we went to the customers, to the end customers, to ask them what they really want and what they're running, what they're using, what are the tools required for them to achieve their goals, we realized that the amount of websites on a single server is such. So 30% of customers only have one website per server. So they're website owners, they're not doing shared hosting, they're not web agencies, they're website owners and small and medium businesses, basically, just trying to get online, getting a VPS from a hosting provider, and getting a control panel to go along with it. There are a few, 13% have 2 or 3 websites, 13 and 7.5%. But that, again, are just website owners who have a staging environment to test their website, update, etc. And only 23.5% are web agencies and shared hosting providers that have 11 or more websites running on a server. Another significant thing is that the amount of users per website or per server. Basically, if you have a lot of users on a server, that means you have a lot of administrators, you have different people doing different things. And what we realized that a very significant amount, close to 60% of people have only one user per control panel per server. So that's, again, a website owner who manages his own environment, does everything himself. And there are very few people that have 5 or more users on a server, so they probably have some technical people looking into it, some admins, content management, marketing, etc. And that dynamic continued over the years. So in the late 2017, we've had just over 30% of one site per server installs, and in the early 2019, just a little bit than a year later, that number increased to almost 35%. So the dynamic continues, and it's a growing trend. And a single site per user dynamic continues as well. So in early 2019, it was already almost 63%. We also decided to talk to the users and ask them who they are, whether they would rate themselves as hosting newbies, so to say, people that don't really know what administration is like, what hosting is like, what they're doing, web agencies, advanced users, admins, and shared hosting provider. And again, over a third of users classified themselves as newbies, people with little or no experience at all that just want to go online. All they know about hosting is that it exists and that they kind of need it to have their website up and running. Another third of users is web agencies, basically creating websites for somebody else. And only 22% are advanced users who feel comfortable that they can administer their own websites and know what they're doing, what PHP versions are, etc. And of course, there's shared hosting that is rather minimal. When we talked to the users and asked them what their experience was with our control panel and all the other control panels on the market, whether they were getting the right tools to achieve their objectives, they told us that it's rather difficult to create a website. Their main objectives are not always achieved. So when a customer comes to a hosting provider with a single objective to get online, to create a website, and to promote that website, it's not that easy to do that with the tools that are being provided. If the right tools are within the control panel, they're not easy to find because there are just so many options and they're so flexible. It's hard to learn about new capabilities. That's another important thing. When you release something that a user actually wants, it's hard for him to find it in the robust instrument that he was provided with. And support was pretty often required by the user to actually figure out his way around and to achieve his objectives. So what we had is 70% of users are not admins. They use their websites for personal use. And again, half of them had only one website. We also talked to the providers and the partners that we work with that actually distribute our control panel and give it to the end users. And their feedback was that customers are asking for support for elementary tasks constantly, how to create a website, how to create and set up mail. So providers found that customers' objectives were not met either. And customers were becoming less and less technical over the years. And the questions that they were asking were becoming more and more elementary from providers' point of view. Another feedback that we receive from providers is that it's difficult to sell add-ons to the customer that the customer actually needs, such as antiviruses or backups or disaster recovery, because customers are forced to go to different environments constantly. They're forced to go to the billing platform and then to the website and then to the control panel, and it's confusing for the customers. They don't always know what tools they need for what objective. And that's when we realized that all the control panels that started off years ago were mostly aimed at admins and to automate admins' tasks. And now the paradigm has shifted a little bit, and we have a lot of people coming to the market and new entrants that want to go online, and hosting providers are starting to compete with Instagram and Facebook and Wix, easy tools that people are familiar with. And when a user actually decides to start a website as well, there is quite a rift between Instagram or any other social network and a control panel that is being provided by the hosting provider. So for the user, that rift is enormous, and a lot of those users, when they face that difficulty, they face that robust control panel with a lot of functionality, a lot of flexibility, a lot of technical lingo, they decide to not go online, they decide to stay with the social networks and promote there, or they're forced to actually seek the help of technical specialists, admins, web agencies, etc., simply to go online. And we realized that this is the gap that we want to breach. This is the forgotten market that we want to address and help people find the right tools to meet their objectives. And we decided to start anew. Instead of trying to simplify the robust platform that we've been building over 15 years and trying to make some of the steps simpler and user-friendlier, we decided to start anew, look at the audience from a new perspective, and give them the right tools that they're expecting, with a clean interface and with clear user journey mapping, with a goal of creating a website. The solution that we decided to go to market with is called WEP Now, and it's focused on the basic scenarios that users want. So it's creating a website, and once the website is created, they don't want to manage the technicalities of it. They want to promote a website, they want to work with the context of the website, they want to work with search engines, they want to work with analytics for the website, and to do it all with a few clicks. So we decided to bring it all to a new interface and create new dashboards that allow users to do it all in a single place and automate everything that used to be very technical. So now a user can simply create a beautiful template that he likes, and we do all the work in the background. So PHP versions we select automatically for the user. Databases, etc. is all being set up. If a user really wants to, he can go into configurations and dive in, but they don't have to, and this is the important part. What we also realized that WordPress is quite difficult for the new users, the WordPress admin area. So we decided to simplify that as well and integrated a website builder for WordPress into the control panel itself, into the dashboard, so a user doesn't really have to go into WordPress admin area either. He can do everything, configure his plugins and work with context from a single interface to simplify his journey even further. And what we are basing our current strategy on is that one user needs one website. This is the most mass market. This is the forgotten market. And the majority of scenarios that all the control panels have don't involve that. So here we can see a very, basically a screenshot of all the settings that happen on the background. The user still has access to it, but he doesn't need to work with that. What he really wants to work with is the website itself, how it looks, how many people are coming there, and this was the first step. Then we decided to address the second issue that users were talking about and the providers, that it's very difficult to find the right tools after you create a website to work with it. We decided to provide it contextually. So such things as antiviruses and analytics, working with your website's content is also available from the dashboard. So a user doesn't really have to go to 100 different tools to do it all. They don't have to go to Google Analytics to look at how many people are visiting their website. They can do it on a dashboard. They don't have to go to a different solution to scan for viruses on their website. Check on the background will tell them that everything is fine or whether they need to take some action, and they can do it with a single press of a button as well. And of course, we worked very hard on creating a marketplace where providers can upload their own solutions, third-party vendors can upload their own solutions, so that that marketplace became a platform, basically, where the users can get the solutions required in place in the control panel, so providers know who their users are, what solutions are required, and they can simply upload it to the platform and give it to their customers within the environment. We also address the web agencies and the developers, of course, because it's a sizable market, and we decided that those are the people that needed the instruments to create websites for everyone else. So obviously such instruments as Ruby, React, Angular, and all the current frameworks are available as well within the platform. So if you're creating a website for somebody else, you have the ecosystem within integrated. So in the future, what we are trying to achieve with the new solution is to allow hosting providers to address that market and to work with the customers that are currently choosing to stay with social networks, or they're going to site builders directly. And hosting providers would be able to provide them with easy and clean tools to create a website and go online without the complexities of managing a web server. And if a customer wants to scale up or actually decides to hire somebody technical on staff to work with the website, those tools are available deeper in the platform as well. And we've also thought that for providers, it's important to make sure that the customers' environments are not overloaded with the control panels. The resources are available for the website. So one of the models that we've developed is a new provisioning system for those instruments that are deployed on the provider side, and all the instances, all the virtual machines that you create for your customers and provide for your customers no longer need to have a control panel installed on them. You have a platform on your side with all the machines connecting via SSH, and the customer's machines are not loaded at all with the control panel. So all the resources of the virtual machine can be attributed to their applications or their websites. And we are planning to deploy that platform for the providers in September 2019. Currently, we're in alpha, testing our hypothesis and gathering more feedback. So we would be very happy if you guys would want to swing by our booth, take a closer look at our solution, give us your feedback, and if you want to test it out, deploy it on your infrastructure, we would be happy to provide you with it very soon, in a couple of months. Thank you for your attention. It's been very fun for me. Hope it was for you as well.